apologies to those watching at home. You pretty much just missed the recap like last time because I'm an idiot and also set up the wrong mic. Yay. I keep doing this. They've entered Miss Novary's shop. They're looking around. It's a very large, circular, mage tower-esque building with bookshelves of magical items. There. Alright, so what do you want to do, Landrins? Apologies about that.
Going up to the bookshelf on the next to the desk to the right of the desk.
Alright, so here.
Yes, correct.
Alright. Is anyone following him, moving with him?
I think Kiko will, actually.
Alright.
What is along the back wall?
The back wall here, underneath the balcony?
Yes.
Underneath the balcony, there is a sling of bookshelves, while right here, right underneath the balcony, is a door which seemingly leads to a back room.
And what is on the balcony?
On the balcony is just an assortment of bookshelves. Each, some hold books, some hold magical items. There's a couple armor sets strung about. Just more merchandise for the shop.
This is so many options. I am interested in weapons and armor, so I'm going to fancy my way around till I find something that strikes my eye.
Alright. So as you move about, you see plenty of different weapons, plenty of different magical items. A couple that might catch your eye are, there's a glowing set of daggers near where you are. They're glowing decently bright green. Did you want to check those out?
Daggers are not my thing.
Alright, not daggers. Okay. As you move about, you also notice pretty much what you would consider like the main merchandise that's probably sold. It's mainly because you see duplicates of it from all around. A couple different necklaces with certain unique jewelry and glowing essences. Hats with unique shapes and designs on them. Tankards of different items. Did you want to roll, what would this be? Arcana? To see if you know what these items are.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first roll of the day.
That's a 2.
This stuff is cool. It glows. You don't know what the fuck any of it is.
I am going to follow him, also perusing on the eye, on the lookout for any sort of mechanical constructs that would interest a engineer and artificer, and I will also roll Arcana.
All right, roll.
Ooh. Let's see. Let me check my sheet. Arcana. Oh, well. I rolled an 18 and I get a +5 on Arcana.
That'd be a 23 if my math isn't off.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me show where to. So amongst these shelves, you see many items you're familiar with. The most notable on the particular bookshelves that both you and Dracoya are looking at currently is you notice there's a charlatan's die, which, as you know, is a die that when you roll it, it rolls to whatever number you want it to. It's a 20-sided die. Likewise, there's some clothes of mending, which, as you know as well, I'm gonna have to keep saying that, aren't I? As Notorious clearly knows, the clothes of mending, which are just clothes that they themselves mend themselves. So if they get torn, if they get ripped, they get tugged on. If there's wear and tear, they repair themselves. There's also a hat of vermin, which allows you to control rats. It gives you 3 charges of that every day, or after every long rest. Do you want me to go through like the full list of items you see, or just like the immediate ones?
Immediate ones and anything that would be relevant to my character's interests as an artificer.
Alright. You don't see any items specifically that would apply or interest an artificer. However, items that you feel that would be very useful, you notice there's a set of bags of holding. By the way, at this point, Landrin... actually, no. All of you roll me perception.
That's a 6.
18.
14.
Kiko? Hello?
I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind here.
You okay? Oh,
No,
there you go.
it's fine.
20? Alright,
Yes.
Landrin, you're the
20.
only one who doesn't notice this, but right above Landrin's head is a woman's upper half connected to a gigantic spider's lower half, hanging from a web right above Landrin's head. And she's just looking over his shoulder, watching him look at stuff. She just slipped down.
I turn around, mind my own business, and continue going through the store.
Okay. That's nice. Alright. And to you, Landrin, you hear behind you, "So, what can I help you with, honey?"
Well, I'm just perusing with some associates of mine. Are you the proprietor of this? He looks up. He looks up to identify the voices just casually, speaking through and just kind of double takes.
Right.
Well, that's fascinating.
And to describe this woman, before she says anything more, this woman, in terms of her upper half, of course, the human part, she is this very beautiful, very attractive young lady. She's got a distinct, sharp set of eyes, with two smaller, very subtle ones right above her main eyebrows. She's got white hair, and she has distinct auburn eyes. Think of like, not quite pure red, but a very more reddish brown, more red, slightly brownish. Like an auburn, that auburn color. And you also notice that she has a distinct set of very sharp teeth as she's looking at what you're doing. But she's got this very large smile, very warm aura, despite the natural level of intimidation she gives off. In terms of upper body clothes, she's wearing what looks to be a very nice casual robe. Nice tightly fitted robe, but her spider half is uncovered.
So,
Excellent. There's got to be like 1, 2, 3. There's like 5 people in this building, and only 2 of them are wearing pants.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
so Kiko was already on edge whenever he go to the shop. So Kiko is gonna be like frozen solid right now.
He's doing what?
Kiko's like frozen solid right now,
Alright.
staring right at the Drider chick.
You must be Miss. My memory is terrible. Your shop has a sign and everything. Before I ask your name, I suppose it would be polite to introduce myself. Landrin. He reaches up his tiny hand for a shake.
She reaches down with her hand. Now, her human hand has some very sharp claws at the end of it, which are a little bit exoskeleton. It turns from flesh around the knuckle point to the end of her finger into an exoskeleton, which is sharpened. However, you can tell she takes, just from looking at it and reaching out as she reaches to clench her hand, she actually takes time to file the ends of the claws so they're blunted, so she doesn't cut you by accident.
Landrin has to do the same thing. What a coincidence.
So she takes your hand and shakes it, and as she does, you notice her lower half starts to lower back to the ground, allowing her to actually place herself on the ground, though her most widely out legs are kind of hanging towards the bookshelves. Yes, my name is Miss Novary, and this is my shop. Welcome to Miss Novary's Wondrous Goods, where I sell wondrous magical items I have cured from all across the world. How can I help you, little kobold? And she leans, her lower human lower half lowers down to your height, doing its best to try and look you in the eye, but not she doesn't want to tower over you. She kind of wants to be on your level.
That's kind of difficult, but the effort is appreciated.
Yeah, considering especially since, in terms of her full height, with her spider legs and everything balancing her up, she's a solid 9.5 feet up from the ground. Tip of her head to the lower parts of her 8 legs. She's about 9.5 feet tall.
At the moment, I'm perusing. How much usually do these tomes and scrolls go for?
Oh, well, I sell them for a variety of prices. It'll depend on the level of the scroll, the level of the spell, and the particular item. The cheapest thing I have in the entire shop is charlatan's dies, which I have a large collection of. I sell those for 450 silver each.
He's just going to nod. Magical items are expensive these days. Any day, actually, now that I think about it.
And as you two are a little conversing, she's looking around. You notice her 2 upper eyes above her eyebrows are kind of looking around more so than her 2 baser eyes. Basically, they're keeping an eye on Kiko. They're darting over to where Belastarius and Jacoria are. More or less, she's keeping her eyes on everything going on.
Kiko hasn't moved a muscle, except tracking her.
It's at this point she turns to you, Kiko. Says, "Ooh, a Kenku. I wish you the best of luck in any pilfering you wish to attempt."
Okay, that makes it even more sketchy for Kiko. Hold up. Kiko's just gonna shake their head to the side really quickly. Nope. Just gonna back up.
Right.
Slowly.
Now, just to describe her lower half, now that it's in better lighting for you guys, you notice her lower half is not hairy at all, like the typical Drider. It's, in terms of its resemblance to a spider, it is an exoskeleton. It is a harder outer shell, more aligned with a scorpion, though. Not as much in terms of an actual hairy follicle spider. It's all just a smooth outer shell. In fact, it looks well polished. She decorates it and makes sure it's nice. It's a solid dark black color. It's got a little bit of a purple hue in its more faded spots. But more or less, her lower half is almost purely naturally armored. It's at this point that she takes a gawk over at Belastarius and Jacoria and says, "If you two don't mind, I will quickly go and welcome my other 2 customers."
By all means, they are quite the pair.
And as she walks over you guys along the wall, she goes to the string where the bell is, and she went, "For all of your future reference, if you wish to enter the shop and ask any questions, this bell does indeed serve a purpose." And she rings it real quick with her index and thumb, and then continues to crawl along the wall and meet up behind Belastarius and Jacoria. Hello.
Alright, I turn, looking up at somebody for once, as she's suspended high on her legs, and I say, "Greetings, rather large, multi-limbed meatbag."
It's at this point she kind of crosses her arms over her chest and goes, "I don't think they're that large." And he's kind of a little, not genuinely offended, more playfully offended.
I try to scooch around our inanimate construct and say, "Greetings, Miss Novary," and would like to extend my hand.
As she's like kind of smiling from like her little witty retort to Belstarius, she then relaxes her arms and reaches out to shake your hand as well. Which is
What a lovely store you have. There are so many wondrous items to be seen.
Ooh, I thank
As
you.
I'm like looking around.
So is there anything you're looking around for specifically, or you're just looking around?
So yes. So I would. So how do I explain this, Miss Novary? I am curious if you have potential items that could make me more impactful when I speak with people and have social interaction. Out of character, I'm looking for something that could potentially bump my charisma stat up by 1 or 2.
Alright. She kind of puts her exoskeleton right hand index finger to her under chin, and kind of she closes her 2 primary eyes while her 2 upper eyes are still looking around. One of which is keeping an eye on you, and another which is looking at Belstarius. And you can tell she's kind of not deep in thought, but is careful about carefully thinking over her items list passively. Is there something specific you were looking for? And what is your budget, by chance?
Let's disregard budget, and let's just take into account the question that I asked, and that is, do you potentially have something that could help make me more presentable as far as social interactions are concerned? I have a meeting later this evening, and I would like to ensure that I am able to put my best foot forward when it involves conversation and the like.
Alright. Hold on, give me a second, because I did write down an immediate list of items I thought you guys would look for. I did not know you would look for that. But I think there is something. Hold on. I'm looking at Xanathor's guide here. Crap. Hold on. Does D&D Beyond have something that can help me here?
Yeah, like the Cloak of Charisma.
Yeah, I typed in charisma, but nothing came up. Do I have to type in like the full thing? God damn it. Either D&D Beyond is not working for me right now, or it just does not want to load. Because it's not, nothing's coming up. Let me just type in cloak. No, it doesn't look like there's any charisma related items on D&D Beyond. What the fuck? That doesn't make sense. I know there's charisma items.
So it comes with like the book packs or something else you have to purchase or something.
All right,
Beyond,
just because
like,
I
the
don't
base
want
level
to,
stuff.
just because I don't want to spend an hour, I'm gonna homebrew an item right now. All right. So as Miss Novary kind of is thinking over her items list, she then opens her eyes and goes, "Ah, I actually believe I have just the thing. I do have a couple of charisma-related items."
Oh, out of character, that would be the Tome of Leadership and Influence.
Okay. Is that the only thing? Because I know there's supposed to be like a necklace of charisma or a cloak of stuff. Feels weird that would be the only item like that. That didn't even come up for... How do you spell tome? Like T-O-M-E?
Yep.
There it is. Total leadership and influence. Very rare. book contains guidelines. Okay, details page. I just want to see its effect. This book contains guidelines for... Okay. Alright, I'll add that next to the homebrew item, and I'll see which one you want to go with. Because I came up with one on a spot I think might be cool. Alright, so she leans down and goes, so, hey, which specific type of item would you like me to grab for you first to look at?
So you have a tome and a what?
I have a tome, and I also have a necklace of charisma.
Might I see the necklace?
So she quickly crawls, clatters over the bookcases and goes to the center tree, and then you see her kind of look around. She's kind of, potting around, looking at the books, looking at different items, and then you see her go, ah! And she grabs a case, like a little glass case, reinforced glass case, walks it over, and she presents in front of you a rather nice, ornate necklace. It's not super bejeweled or anything. It's a nice silver metallic necklace with a bright green gem in the center. Now, I just came up with the item on the spot, so... in terms of the item's effects, I would say in a charisma item that gives you advantage in charisma checks, it has 4 charges. And you can only use... once you use up those 4 charges, to get them all back, you need to get them back via a long rest.
Okay, so this does not provide a permanent. This is more so.
It just gives you advantage.
Well, this is in character. That
oh, okay.
I'm directing this at her.
Okay.
So Miss Novary, this does not provide a permanent boost. This provides something that would work on a daily basis, and I would have a certain number of attempts that would allow me to use this object, correct?
Correct.
I'm looking for something that's slightly more permanent based.
I do have something more permanent. It's the Tome of Leadership and Influence. It is very expensive, though. No offense, I doubt you have the coin for it.
Out of curiosity, what is the exact price?
Well, the exact price, to give you a comparison, this necklace is about 40 gold. The Tome of Leadership and Influence is 180.
Oof. That is definitely out of my price range.
It is an extremely rare item.
No, and I understand that, and I expected that would be the case.
She kind of puts her hand on your shoulder and says, "I'm very, very sorry. If it was an item you truly wanted to get, but unfortunately, it is one of my pricier ones."
To achieve greatness,
she's kind of doing that
at
consoling.
a significant price.
Yeah, she's
to achieve greatness comes at a significant price, and I understand that, Miss Novary. And I expected it would most likely be out of my price range. But as an adventurer, one must have goals for their adventure, and now I have a new goal to set my sights on.
Very good indeed. She kind of pats your shoulder one more time, almost motherly, and then takes her hand off your shoulder. Says, so would you like to pick up the necklace, or is that also out of your price range?
The necklace is not so much. Can you put that item? Can you put the necklace off to the side? I would like to continue to peruse your wares before I make a final decision.
Yep. And at the moment you said putting it aside, her 2 back legs went to like the back of her abdomen, which spews out the webbing. She quickly does like a quick sticky tie to it and kind of weirdly shoots up the other end of the connected web to the ceiling, kind of tugs on it like an elastic, and the glass case is lifted up out of reach, but it is close enough down you can keep your eye on it, and it's hanging right now above the desk, the front desk. So, roughly speaking, it's right here. Just a little bit elevated. I have it put aside for you if you so choose to purchase it this day. Is there anything else you're looking for?
Very much so. Arms and armor, as any adventurer would be interested in.
I mainly sell magical weapons and armor, which again is extremely expensive, especially since I find myself having to enchant my own sometimes, with how rare it is to find the skill to do it correctly. It's not quite as expensive as the tome, a good chunk of them, but if you're looking for just better armor and equipment, I do recommend Ivan's in town. He's a wonderful fellow, though I don't think he likes me very much.
Yes, I have spoken with Ivan earlier today, and unfortunately he did not have what it was I was looking for.
That is unfortunate. Well, hopefully his stock will be updated. But if you are looking for magical, I can go and check what I have that would be most appropriate for, well, what is the type of armor you're looking for, I suppose?
That's a great question. I don't necessarily have something specific in mind, but something that is light, extremely durable, and can prevent me from dying.
Oh! And so she has this, like, almost like, all four of her eyes just like, are really wide now. She's like, I think I have just the thing. And it may be in your price range. So she quickly jumps on the wall, kind of does like a circular motion around to the balcony, kind of hops off, and you see her kind of looking through different sections of hung armor up on the balcony. She's being very quick and being very careful, very fluttery with her fingers, almost like she's dancing as she's looking for stuff. Very, very lighthearted, very, very light in her step. Kind of doing a interesting crab sidewalk with her spider legs. And then you see her stop at a hung piece of what you can definitely tell from where you're at is definitely leather armor. She grabs the full case and lifts it up and quickly starts walking back along the wall, dropping down to where you guys are at. I think I have just the thing. This is leather golem armor. Hold on. Does D&D have the stats for it? D&D Beyond have the stats for it? Oh shit. Oh, D&D Beyond wants me to pay for a digital content pack for that. What the fuck?
What book is it?
Does that?
Lost Laboratory of Qualish.
No, I don't have that module.
Damn it. When in doubt, Google.
Yeah, what's the item?
Leather golem armor. I wrote it down here, but I didn't write it down its description. Okay. About a stat set for it. Okay, light armor, leather armor, rare, requires attunement. Strange rituals have repurposed the body of a flesh golem into this partially sentient suit of leather armor. While wearing this armor, you gain a +1 bonus to AC and saving throws against spells and other magical effects. In addition, you gain the following properties: immutable form. You are immune to any spell or effect that would alter your form. And lightning absorption. You gain resistance to lightning damage. Whenever you take lightning damage, you gain 5 temporary hit points. The downside with it, though, is you get aversion to fire. If you take fire damage, you have the disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of your next turn. And berserk. Whenever a critical hit is made against you, you roll a d6. On a 6, the armor causes you to go berserk. On each of your turns, while berserk, you attack the nearest creature you can see. If no creature is near enough to move to and attack, you attack an object, with preference for an object smaller than yourself. Once the armor causes you to go berserk, it cannot be removed. You continue to attack until you are incapacitated, or until another creature is able to calm you with an appropriate magic, such as Calm Emotion spell or a successful DC 15 Charisma Persuasion check.
That's just so absurd that I want that. So can you reread to me the fire issue?
Aversion to fire. If you take fire damage, you have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of your next turn. So basically, if someone hits you with a fireball, you're going to be rolling disadvantages on attack rolls specifically and ability checks until the end of your turn.
Okay, so the reason why I ask is because as a tiefling, you have natural resistance to fire. I didn't know how that would play in. This is a side effect.
Personally, as a DM, since you have a natural resistance to fire, I would say that counteracts the aversion to fire negative. Or, I guess, evens it out. So basically, it wouldn't give you that disadvantage.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's why I was asking the question. So, Miss Novary, what is the price range for this particular item?
105 gold pieces.
That is just slightly out of my budget range.
My apologies. So after you said it was out of your price range, she kind of crawls along the wall and puts it back on its case, crawls back over the balcony, over the bookcases, and back to you. Is there anything else you would like to take a look at? If I may make a recommendation, I am actually selling a bag of holding, a set of bags of holding. I've actually received a couple extra that I wasn't expecting recently. So, they're actually cheaper than they normally would be.
A bag of holding is always wonderful to have.
I am also interested in one of those.
Alrighty. Would you like to pick up one, two, multiple? In terms of price, each of them are around 10 gold each.
We all pitch in to try and get the party a bag of holding for looting purposes.
You just say 10 gold each for a bag of holding.
Cheated.
I will buy your entire stock.
She only has 2 that she's willing to sell at a time to a group of customers.
I reach into my pocket, I pull out 10 gold, and I say I would gladly have a bag of holding.
Alright. Would you like to get a second one for your group here? I'm afraid I can only sell up to 2, but if you'd like 2 sets, I am willing to sell 2 bags of holding.
I will turn to Ballesterius. Hey, is this something, the rest of us should probably have? Like, I bought one for my own personal self and then one for the party.
It'd probably be useful to carry various items and plunder that we take. I would like one for myself, but if there's... Sure, let's see. How much gold was it?
It was 10, so you'd have to pitch in 5.
I only have 3 and 102 silver.
So...
35 silver.
Alright, Kiko? Are you contributing to this, or are you...
I can contribute up to 3 gold, so if he's covering 5, then somebody's got to throw in 2.
I can throw in 5 gold. For early.
To cover the other half?
Who's paying who? Yes.
Cool.
Alright.
Who's paying what now? I kind of lost track.
Okay. Dracoria is willing to... He's buying 1 bag of holding outright, and he's willing to get which he's intending for himself, and then he has an entire... He's wanting to grab the second one that she's willing to sell for the whole party to use as well. So 2 bags of holding, essentially. And the second one he's willing to cover... Dracoria says he's willing to cover 5 gold if someone else covers the other half.
Okay, yeah, I can cover 5 gold.
Alright. So, Miss Novary looks super giddy. She loves a good sale. She went, amazing. And since you're getting both of them, why don't I throw in a tankard of 1 tankard of sobriety for 2 more gold? I normally sell them for 9. Especially in these parts, since so many people seem to want them.
What is a tankard of sobriety?
Basically, as long as the alcoholic beverage is not magical in nature, it makes it so it has none of the inebriated effects affect you. So
I'll take it. 2 gold.
You can cheat it. You can cheat at drinking contests now.
Alright, so that's minus 10 gold from you, Dracoria, for the first bag of holding, then minus another 5 for the second. And for you, Kiko, that is a total of 7 gold from you. For the other half of for the second bag of holding, and for the 2 extra gold that you're being charged for the tankard of sobriety.
Ego does not trust us at all, but
Trust us.
it sounds too useful to pass up.
Alright. Alright, so I'm assuming both of you give Miss Novary the money?
Yeah, I give Miss Novary the 15 gold.
Alright. So she takes the 15 gold from you and then scuttles over the bookshelves over to Kiko, holds her hand out for the other 7.
Ego is tentatively going to give it to him, just back up quickly.
Alright.
Still eyes locked on.
Yeah, but you did give her the gold though.
Yes, I did.
Right. So let me just note that both of you
Go have intense arachnophobia.
Not necessarily arachnophobia, but it doesn't help.
And Jacoria. Just noting what took you guys. Alright, so she takes the gold and kind of smiles, and she says, It's okay, hey honey. I haven't eaten a kanku in over 20 years. She then scuttles over, kind of giggling to herself to the front desk. I'm assuming that silence is also for your characters.
I would actually like to approach Miss Novary and ask, let's say a hypothetical. If I had a budget of 60 gold, what would be something that you would recommend from your store?
I have quite a few items around that range I would sell to. Let's see. So she puts her index and thumb to her chin again, thinking. I have a set of boots of speed for 40 gold, and a wand of fireballs for 55 gold.
I was chewing on a toothpick and it just fell out of my mouth.
Which she, considering your distance from her, one of her back legs stretches out and catches the toothpick right at the end.
No, I mean I, as in me, behind the screen, not Lander.
Oh, you did? Okay. I thought that would be a good RP moment. Why?
That's a good deal. A wand of fireball. Holy
Keep
fuck.
in mind, I keep in mind the wand of fireball. I want to make sure you know the stats. Let me pull them up, just double check. Wand of fire. And also keep in mind the gold in this world is extremely. Basically, the 55 gold is the equivalent of $5,500. Like
I know. I'm aware.
And it does require the attunement by a spellcaster. This one has 7 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend 1 or more of its charges to cast the Fireball spell. Save DC 15. From it, for 1 charge, you can cast the 3rd level version of the spell. You can cast the spell slot level by 1 for each additional charge you expend. The Wanderer gains 1d6 plus 1 expendable charges daily at dawn. If you expend the wand's last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, the wand crumbles into ashes and is destroyed. So it's a very good item. But also keep in mind, it's also very expensive. It can be destroyed if your luck is shit. But it is a very good item for you, Landrin, considering your lack of offensive abilities and weapons.
How much did she say it was?
55 gold.
That's far out of my price range, sadly.
I mean, I'd be willing to go half if if our dear mage friend required this. But that is the best I could offer, as I would not be the direct recipient of this item.
Alright, Landrin.
What do you need, Landrin?
And I know you can't afford it, but are you gonna try and ask Kiko or Jacoria to cover it for you, or?
We've gotten a pretty darn good haul. We got magic items. We got cheating a drinking game.
Alright.
Conserve a bit of our resources for the moment. Man, this burn on my arm makes it really inconvenient to rest anywhere.
How much were those boots?
The
40
boots of speed are 40.
40. Do I really want to part with 40?
You have 40? Good God. That's right, you robbed a goblin. Shit.
Yeah, and that's why I was willing to go half on the item for you, because I was going to use this as money for the party. That's why I bought a bag for the party.
The secret unknown funds.
Yep.
So I guess
There's methods to my madness.
I thought you were just being a thief.
But I'm not a thief. I may be an urchin, but I'm not a thief.
no, that's Kiko.
Anymore.
Kiko's the thief.
Kiko is definitely the thief.
Yeah,
Unless anyone else wants anything, I'm good.
Alright.
So what do the boots provide? It's 40 movement speed, right?
I believe so.
When the heels are clicked?
Yes.
Boots double your walking speed.
While you wear these boots, you can use a bonus action and click the boots' heels together. If you do, the boots double your walking speed, and any creature that makes an opportunity attack against you has disadvantage on the attack roll. If you click the heels together again, you end the effect. When the boots property has been used for a total of 10 minutes, the magic ceases to function until you finish a long cast. Oh, sorry, a long rest.
Long rest, yeah. This is one of those things that you may not have another opportunity to acquire. So I am going to run the risk and spend the gold. And I'm going to also buy the Boots of Speed.
Alrighty. I'll remind you, honey, that means you won't be able, according to the hypothetical budget you gave me, you won't be able to afford the necklace.
No, I understand that. I feel as though that a long-term benefit far outweighs my current need for short-term goals.
Alrighty. So she kind of quickly, one of her back legs grabs some webbing and like wraps it around the necklace, and you can she kind of like, well, essentially does like an overarm toss to where it's supposed to go, and she uses the webbing like a lasso to whip it back into the shelving it's supposed to be in with pinpoint accuracy. And then she quickly detaches the web without yanking back on the item.
3 points.
Thank you. Alrighty. That is 40 gold for the Boots of Speed, which she then quickly, one of her middle legs reaches under the front desk and pulls them out. Clearly this is an item that she doesn't keep on just on the shelves. It's oddly placed there, but it's also a nice hidden spot from the general melee of items across the store.
And I will take out my sack and count out individually each gold coin and tally up for the 55 gold that I have spent here.
And as you do, you notice Miss Novary has her two hands. Keep in mind, like her actual human ones, not like one of her feet.
Yeah.
Clapped together, and she's kind of like smiling, like this is a good business day. And as you're counting them out, she went, you all are much better customers than the locals around here. Not only are they scared to come in sometimes because of how I look, but they also tend to try and barter with me. They find that I actually end up increasing the price the more they try. In fact, there was a town ranger who tried to get a tankard of sobriety off of me for... as I recall, he said it was, this item is so pathetic and small, and you should have plenty of these. It's easy to enchant. I'd say it's probably more fair to sell it to me for 50 silver. Huh. I ended up asking for over 30 gold for it by the end of the day.
I understand business relatively well, and sometimes bartering is not the best option. And I felt your prices were fair and reasonable, so I felt it would be a disservice and an insult to you if I attempted to barter.
Good.
So out of character question, the Boots of Speed require attunement. Do I need to do within your world? Can I attune to them on my own, or do I require the assistance of a mage?
In this world, I'll say you can do it on your own. It's I'd say it's probably like much faster with a mage helping, but you can do it on your own. It just takes a little extra time.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because I think with the business we just generated, the nice speech I gave, I would like to try to acquire Miss Novary's services on helping me attune to this for a reasonable price.
All right. Well, so you ask her that?
Yes.
Right. Well, I do offer those services, especially considering the trade I'm in. Though the service, depending on the item, I can increase the price. It's not a set rate. But
Well, I feel with the business that we've done today, I think a reasonable price of your choosing. Once you let me know, we can work with that.
all right, roll me persuasion with advantage. Given her motherly nature and given your kindness and your good business, roll me with advantage.
15.
All right, 15. So she kind of stands there looking for a moment and goes, very well. I will, for a reasonable price, attune this item to you for 300 silver. Sorry, 30 silver. Yeah.
For that, actually, Landry is going to take his teeny coin pouch out and start counting silver out.
Right. That's 30 silver.
Thank you, my fine friend. I appreciate that.
I figured I might contribute at some point.
And I am attuned to the item. All done now.
Yep.
My participation thus far has sort of been summed up in standing around.
To attune you to the item, after the silver is handed to her, which she kindly grabs, she puts her hand on your head. Jacoria puts her other hand on the boots,
I
and
need an adult.
and she quickly, I am an adult.
Yeah.
And quickly she kind of mumbles an incantation under her breath, and you feel light for a moment, like all of a sudden, like just some warmth is kind of passing through your body, a little bit like a butterfly numbness to you. And as soon as she takes her hand off of you and the incantation stops, that feeling immediately goes away. But you notice that the boots, as soon as you grab them, you can kind of feel an internal connection to them that wasn't there when you were just looking at them before. You are now fully attuned to your new items. Congratulations.
Thank you, Miss Novary. It has been a pleasure doing business with you.
It's been a pleasure doing business with you. Now, if you see a ranger with dirty blonde hair and a tankard of sobriety, tell him if he comes in my store and threatens me again, I will chop off both his arms. Thank you.
Have a good day, Miss Novary.
Have a good day, sweeties. Alright, so you all head out?
Yeah, is there like a platform like you step up to like the door? You know, like walking in from the outside?
Yeah, it's kind of like a little pop-up, yeah.
Yeah, once we walk outside, I'm going to take all my items other than something that can puncture it and dump them into my bag of holding and then put my new boots of Wonderous on. Boots of speed on.
Alright, so you open up the bag of holding, and immediately you look in there, and it's like just black. It's like light. It's like almost absorbs light. And as you put your items through, they just like foom, 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 foom. You kind of see like a brief like little like plump at the bottom of the bag before it like recontorts back into its small shape. And just item after item after item goes in. And as soon as you're done putting the spare items in, you're holding in front of you this bag of holding, and you can't see any of the items in there. It's just a black hole.
Alright, who gets to carry the party bag of holding?
Real quick for me, Landrin, can you roll me an Arcana? Actually, no, all of you roll me Arcana real quick.
Maybe.
It actually, yeah, Arcana. This would definitely be Arcana. I was gonna see if I could argue something else, but I don't think I can.
19.
13.
Six.
I'll say
I failed the other one, but I succeeded this one.
I'll say it's a group roll, realist. Just so you all, I'm just trying to see like what you all would roughly know about the bags of holding. How the bags of holding work in this world is, it's a pocket dimension essentially. There's no weight to this bag, And you can essentially put as many items as you want in there, as long as they're not living. Because if they're living and they go in there, they die.
Oh,
That is well known. So no living creatures can go in there unless you want them to die. And nothing. And in terms of organics, it's not a refrigerator. So whatever goes in there will decay and rot over time if it's like food and stuff. Unless you have a specific.
So it's not the lack of air that kills living things.
No,
it just instantly kills anything with a soul that tries to go in.
Yeah, it's think of it as like an alternate dimension where living things can't actually live. Like your body, you could put a body in there for sure, but if you want something to go in there, stay alive and come back out, not happening. They will die, and their body will eventually rot.
Yeah, I have a quick question here. So none of us. Do you want to know all the totals, or are you just happy with Decoria's roll?
I looked at. I'm fine with as long as yours wasn't a nat 1.
Okay, see about that.
You got a nat 1.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right. As far as Landrin knows, not only does he know nothing about these bags of holding, but you quickly try and jump in it.
I try and what?
You try and jump in it. You just get this sudden desire to jump inside of it. You can't explain
I
it.
will reach out and attempt to catch him and stop him.
All right. Roll me athletics.
I was like, can Kiko assist on this by like pulling the bag of holding away?
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, let's see. Athletics. Don't get an advantage, so 17.
All right. So you successfully yoink right at the edge of his robes, right before Landrin can successfully make the jump inside of the bag of holding. You successfully get a good grip over his shoulder, though he jumped with momentum and almost got his snout in there. Which, by the way, as you almost got your snout in there, Landrin, you suddenly felt all the temperature in your nose feel kind of off. Not like cold, like as an actual, like the actual thermal heat of your snout was taken away. It's almost like it didn't exist for a brief moment. Like something was real, like internally, emotionally cold, like sucking at you. Makes you feel a little bit weak. So can you roll me a constant? Actually, roll me wisdom saving.
What does a 9 do me?
Roll with advantage, because to be fair, Belstarius rolled a 17, which was pretty much a solid yank away. So your full snout didn't get in. So.
Even with advantage, it didn't go. It didn't increase any.
Damn.
Got a 6 on the second one.
All right. Okay. So as Belisarius yanks you away, and you get that cold sucking feeling, like you feel kind of weak and kind of sullen. I'm gonna say take 3 hit points worth of damage. It's not physical damage, but it will take away your hit points a little bit. Something sucked your soul a little bit. You feel kind of cold for a minute.
You call this necrotic, or?
I would say this is a little bit necrotic, yeah.
Necrotic damage. Alrighty.
Would you have a
Taken
sense
off?
Alright. That should... Wait, actually, no, wait. Kiko, didn't you roll an assist to yank the bag away?
Yes, but I don't think... should I roll, like, sleight of hand to do that?
Yeah, that should have been sleight of hand.
Okay, yeah. I was
Just like the
wondering
quickness
about
of it. This might spare him having to take this damage if you roll good.
18.
Alright, so negate that damage you just took, Landrin, because that bag... Your snout didn't even get to the bag. Because, thankfully, due to not only Belisarius' quick yank to pull you away, but also Kiko's quick instincts to yoink the bag away from your face, you successfully avoid taking the damage.
Let's see if I roll above a 10 tonight.
Hopefully. You almost took necrotic damage trying to jump into a black hole.
Ducking to my death.
Keep in mind, I punish severely for ones. It's vicious. Alright.
Almost just outright killed my character.
Yeah, I told you I run critical role rules. You do not want to hit roll ones with me. I could be pretty bad.
I stand there holding Landrin up in the air and berate him for the lack of self-preservation that I thought meatbags were supposed to have.
Throw yourself in next time to rid of some of your stupidity.
Alright, so other than Landrin, the rest of you, just to finish explaining the bag of holding, outside of living things not being able to survive inside of there, and the upside is you do know there's actually enchantments for bags of holding, like enchantment of cold, which you can basically turn a bag of holding into a freezer or a refrigerator. But it's not easy to do, considering, again, it's a pocket dimension, so you need a pretty strong and talented enchanter to do it. So you know instinctively that if someone tried to buy a bag of holding enchanted with a frost spell, it'd be pretty damn expensive.
Would Artificer infuse item work on it, or is that only for non-already enchanted items?
Non-already enchanted items, I believe.
That's what I thought.
I have a question.
Yes.
The other bag of holding, can we turn that inside out to see if there is anything inside the bag already?
You can't turn them inside out, but you can shake them, and if you shake them upside down, it's kind of like with a normal bag, the centrifugal force will cause whatever's in there to just pop out. Especially if you do it with the intent, which is the other part of the cool thing about these bags of holding in this world is, instead of reaching in there trying to like fish around for what you're looking for, you can put your hand at the top of it or just in it and just think or say the item you want to yank out, and it'll pop to the top where your hand is.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, so that's how getting out items works. Is you just need to think or say the item, and it'll pop right up.
All right, Ballistarius will volunteer to carry the group one.
Right. And so did you turn it upside down, Dracoria, to see if there's anything in the other one? Hello?
You kind of cut off something about Dracoria? What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I shook the hell out of mine and the other one just to make sure that there was nothing inside it.
Alright, nothing except a set of bones comes out of the second one.
Some idiot tried to hide inside.
Oh, that sucks.
Just human bones, human remains, but they're pristine.
I bet they would be. Jesus.
All right, well, this one's the team bag, so here you go. And I hand it over to Ballistarius.
I'll throw that into inventory.
Yeah, as much as a bag of holding is super useful for Kiko, Kiko doesn't want anything to do with it at all.
Alright, so let's see. How would I, like, if I put an item in there, how do I minus off the weight that I'm carrying then? Or do I just kind of keep that in mind?
So what do you mean? Like, when you put an item in, like, what do you...
Yeah, like from my inventory, if I just drop some items in there, how do I subtract on roll 20, or subtract the weight off?
I believe you just delete the item.
Well,
actually, no, you just put the weight to 0.
Yeah.
Just put the weight to 0, because in the bag of holding it wouldn't have any weight.
You can.
Oh, there, it's going to Blicky. All right, so I'm just gonna toss some items in there while we're all getting ready.
All right.
There's a little like eye next to the weight.
I wasn't joking. There really is a pile of bones now right in front of Miss Novary's shop.
Somebody should clean that up.
Or let her know about it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna open up the door and be like, "Hey, we were checking the bags, and some bones came out of one of the bags. What would you like us to do with those?"
As she quickly comes to the entrance, she kind of puts her hand so the sunlight doesn't hurt her eyes. And she sees the bones and goes, "Oh, I forgot about that lunch. 1 second. She comes back. She goes inside, grabs like this large other bag. It looks like another bag of holding, and she like swifts him in there. Thank you for letting me know that. And she slips back in. You hear the door shut.
Oh my gosh, somebody ate Greg.
So
Greg,
I don't know
no.
I don't know based off the description. So I'm a little hazy, but I'm gonna turn to Ballesterius. Hey, was her lower half a construct like yourself, or was she like that her natural state?
He is all organic. The sensors that I have in place of my ears, which are superior to yours, could hear all that gross squishing from her muscles underneath her carapace.
Huh. Neat. I've never encountered one of her species. That's extremely interesting. And I'm just gonna like walk away as I'm like talking to myself.
Actually, Ballesterius, if you want to see if you have any inherent knowledge of her particular breed of Drider, you can roll for that if you want to.
All right, let's see. What would that be for? Would that be nature, perception, history?
I'd say it's nature. This would be nature.
All right, cool. That's an intelligence one, so I get a good advantage on that.
All right.
17 plus 5. Why am I rolling like 15s and 17s today? It's just...
Don't complain about it. You'll jinx it.
And knock on wood.
Alright, so 17 plus 5, so 22.
22, yep.
Alright, so you inherently know, and feel free to not tell the rest of the party this, but it's up to you. You know that that the common Drider out in the universe, they typically live in the dark places of the world, even deeper in the ground and in caves and caverns and mines than even kobolds. That's where they like to live, in the dark places of the world, the Underdark, if you will. They're also typically known to be dangerous. They're descendant from elves, or they're like I guess you could say a mutation of elves that mutated in the dark places of the world and became what they are known as these half spiders. But typically, though, the stereotype and the belief is that all of them are inherently evil, malicious, or violent. There have been other Driders, like Miss Novary, who have actually come to the upper world and have found a way to make a living and also kind of become civilized, if you will. In fact, there was a whole tribe that did that many years ago. The tribe was known as the, oddly enough, Black Drake, the Black Drake tribe of Driders. They worship a black dragon named Craig. Did I seriously write Craig? What the fuck?
You wrote Craig.
Oh, I accidentally... Okay, Craigor. I accidentally slightly erased O and R. I was like, did I seriously write Craig? Oh god! I was like, as I said, I was like, what?
Damn you, Craig!
No, it's Craigor. Fuck you. I accidentally kind of erased the O and the R. But they worship the black dragon Craigor. I'd have to make you have to do a whole separate roll for Craigor. That would be a religion check. But essentially, in terms of what it has to context for her species, they left the Underdark because they essentially developed a different moral and I guess social code. They don't really believe in violence outside of what's necessary to survive. They believe it's necessary to kill things to eat them. They believe it's necessary to kill things if they're trying to kill you, to eat you. But they don't, past that, they don't really have much of a strong code about that stuff. But that alone was enough to have them outcasted by the other Drider tribes and clans underneath the ground, because the rest of them believed very much in a violent lifestyle, killing things even if they weren't a direct threat to you. No sense of diplomacy. They also, to a degree, hated different forms of magic, which her tribe did not hate. In fact, they thought it was a very good teaching. So, basically, out of just not being able to mesh well with the other tribes and potentially being outnumbered by them and annihilated by them, they sought refuge in the upper ground in the world. The vast majority of them are not in Nordred, though. They are in Corvana, one of the neighboring nations across the ocean. And what's most distinct visually about her tribe, other than the auburn eyes, white hair, they also have no like hairstyle follicles like the other known Drider tribes. Their outer shell is pure natural armor, but it's smooth as metal, as refined metal. And stronger in some senses.
Very cool.
Indeed. So, you feel free to tell the rest of your group that, or keep it to yourself.
Well, I basically I keep most of it to myself, but I answer the pertinent information to the question that Decoria was asking about them.
Okay. Alright. So, you guys are out of Miss Novary's shop. Where would you guys like to go?
Can I just say that that out of character, I really enjoy Miss Novary as a character, but in character, Kiko is terrified of her.
They have decent reason to be. Now, keep in mind, also out of character, the eating of people part. I don't want to give you guys the unless you guys want to do an insight check before I just spiel it to you.
Please.
Do an insight. That way I can justify telling you guys this.
Or Jane.
6.
I'll consider it a group roll, so we'll just go.
Also 14.
I was going to ask if Kiko would perhaps, since Kiko didn't let their eyes leave her, is there any potentially, is it possible that I could have gotten a bonus on this roll? Not like advantage or anything, but like a +2 or something. Just for being observant.
+2. Add 2 to your roll. I'll just do that.
Okay. 16 then.
Alright, and Landrin, did you want to roll as well?
Sure, why not? One more try. I'm gonna use the roll 20 thing. 9.
Alright,
Nice.
so we got 16, 6, 9. Pierce, what'd you get?
Oh, 14.
Alright, so nobody rolled really, really low. So I'll say, as a group, you guys were able to absorb that Miss Novary is definitely kind-hearted, gentle. The sharper, more intense side that you get implied with the person, like the bones that came out of that bag, and with her general comments of, oh, I haven't eaten a kenku in a long time. She is definitely gentle-hearted. She's definitely what you would definitely say is a good person. She's non-hostile, she's non-violent, again, warm, motherly kind of vibe. But from the implication you got from how she sees things, like with her tribe, they see violence as perfectly alright as a form of self-defense, and they also see it as a form of sustenance, to eat things. So, you can easily ascertain from the context clues and Belisarius' knowledge of the species that whoever she killed, whoever's bones those were, was probably somebody who tried to either at best steal from her or B, tried to kill her. And that's kind of like her moral code, as you can take it up. As long as you don't do her severe wrong, she more than likely will be incredibly kind, incredibly generous, and she's generally a warm person. She likes people. But don't cross her. Because she goes by very naturalistic laws. You cross me, all bets are off the table.
Angry spider.
Yeah. But keep in mind, you also get the sense that it's not like a one fuck up and you're done. It depends on the severity of how much, with how kind you guys are, you guys just earned a lot of brownie points. So you could probably actually attempt to steal from her. Not that I recommend it. But you could probably try and steal from her, and she probably would just give you a slap on the wrist.
Oh, I have a chance of getting the Tome of Leadership and Inspiration, you say? Is that what I heard?
No.
Pico,
You can try
I
it.
have a mission for you.
Oh no.
Righto, righto. Alright, so everybody's out of Miss Novary's shop. I still haven't drawn this damn streets.
That's okay, we forgive you.
I got so many days and hours in the fucking day and week.
Has it been long enough for them to go pick up their clothes and whatnot, or?
You guys were only in there, I will say, for maybe at most an hour. So you still have another 2 till your noble clothes are done, and everything else you guys set up to in the works is multiple days down the line. So if you guys want, you can go to the inn for the next couple hours, or
Define days.
Indicate. The first prototype for the black powder stuff that Ivan is working on for Landrin and Belstarius. The very, very, very first prototypes are not predicted to be done until I don't know if you guys can actually even see that. But those aren't predicted to be done until 3 days have gone by. So you have the rest of today and then 2 more days down the line.
But the meeting with Lady Maria Ruga is still this evening, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. That's why I was asking.
So, what do you guys want to do for the next 2 hours? Just go to the inn, goof off. Yeah, this is the unfinished sketch of the city.
Let's have a look-see here. We have this lovely little city here that we can look through.
This is the gate you guys came in through the caravan. You guys were brought down here. This is the inn, the stables where the oxen, most of the carriages are still at. A security office. This is the local lord's home down the residential district. This is the merchant district where you guys were just down.
Okay, Landrin would like to go to the market. And how much would it be to make a tiny little sign that says free item repair and cleaning, 1 silver?
Are you asking me how long it would take you to fashion that together, or?
Yeah, how long it would take to fashion a little sign that says that, or to buy a sign that says that?
Well, okay. So, there's a guy selling, like, freshly processed wooden planks, some of which are flat and big enough to put a sign on. He's selling each plank for about 5 silver each.
I have exactly 5 silver to purchase that from him with.
Alright. So you buy the minus 5 silver from you buy that, and you set up a little repair station for the next 2. Is that what everybody's doing for the next 2 hours, or is that just what Landrin's up to?
I'll go with him and offer services as well. Anchoring, repairing stuff.
Ready? Well, let me roll something for you guys. Alright. So, over the course of... this is just for you guys. Over the course of the next 2 hours, there's not a lot of people who seem to need stuff repaired. Ivan seems to repair most of, like, the major armory and stuff like that. Other shops, like, for example, the fabric shop, they fix clothes, everyday clothes. Pretty much every business is already well known. You guys are just some... seemingly appear to be some odd-looking beggars on the side of the road, offering to repair stuff. But a couple of people have come over, like, you know, toss you guys maybe 5 silver at most to have, like, their, like, muddy boots washed off real quick, or if they have, like, a small brooch broken and they don't want to go into a full store and wait in line, they come over and have that repaired. I'll say you guys, over the course of that 2 hours, probably make the equivalent of 10 silver.
Righty, I'll take 5, you take 5?
Sure.
Alright. What was everybody else doing for that 2 hours?
So So my background is urchin, and it allows me to know the secret patterns and flow to cities, and I can find passages through the urban scrawl that others would miss. So it makes me able to travel through the city easier. So from a thematic standpoint, I would like to say that I spend this time wisely, going through the city, trying to see if I can find secret passages, trying to understand the layout of the city so that, in the case of in an emergency or we have to beat feet and get the hell out of the city, I would have the knowledge to do so, and find the fastest way out.
Alright. I'll say, in that case, roll me investigation with advantage.
15.
15, okay. So as you walk through the city, through the crowds, you lurk about. Nobody seems to notice you. You're fairly well hidden amongst that. And even then, at best, if people do notice you, they just note you as one of the crowd, or they, if they do note you as an individual, just a tiefling. You're a common sight in Nordred, so nothing abnormal. So as you walk about the city, as far as you can tell in terms of ways out of the city, there's the main north entrance, which you guys came from, the main north gate, and the south gate, which is the leads down the main road to the rest of Nordred, which also then eventually leads to Northholm, the capital city of Nordred. But in terms of secret or potential hidden ways out of the city, you definitely sense that there's probably some old catacombs underneath the cities based on just some common verbiage you hear as you walk about the city and listen to folks talk. A couple shrewd older gentlemen towards the southern gate start discussing, if this... I don't know why we even bother with the such heavy security above ground. Don't you know the old catacombs? Yeah, the old catacombs, I tell you this. If a necromancer gets down there, we're all screwed no matter what. If we close the gates, we'll all be fish in a barrel, I tell you. Oh, indeed. I do worry about it myself. The Undertaker's been burying less people there and more outside the city, out of his own paranoia. Indeed. So you get from general discussion from people who also know the city that there are catacombs underneath the city. What you're able to derive, though, is it's only believed to have like an exit somewhere, like the catacombs exit out somewhere outside the city, but there's no proof of that. It's more or less just a myth or speculation. No one has ever traversed the catacombs that completely. You definitely get the sense that they're ancient from general minor discussion you overhear here and there while just leaning against a wall or walking through the street and just catching the rare description or word. It's certainly on people's minds, though, because there's some tension in the air with how things have been going, not only politically in Nordred, but also just locally, how some things have been kind of lighting up, that people are talking about ways in and out of the city as well, so that aids in your little investigation. But, yep, you have no definitive, other than these main north and south entrances, no definitive exits or breakaways, other than the catacombs, which you get the sense are like a labyrinth. Alright. So... Righto.
I have something I need to do. I'm going to go see if I can find some... perhaps like a quill and ink. Something to write with.
Alright, to buy a couple?
Yes.
Alright, so if you go down the merchant district, you notice there's like a general goods store. It's run by a nice portly gentleman, decently sized, good 280 pounds. Nice plump fellow for roughly 5'6" in height. His name is Benji. Benji welcomes you to the shop, shows you some general goods, and amongst them is some black ink and quill, and even paper and parchment if you so choose. All of that he's willing to sell to you is like a little writing kit for about 25 silver.
Ooh, that sounds perfect. 25 silver.
Alright, subtract 25 silver. Alright, so now you make sure to note either in the bag of holding or in your personal inventory that you have a black ink, quill, and a couple sheets of parchment. Alright. Is that everybody set for their 2-hour period?
Oh no, I have something I need to do actually.
Alright.
I'm going
say
to.
all that took you about 30 minutes, so you have another hour and a half. What's...
I'm going to use my criminal contact for my background. I have a reliable and trustworthy contact who acts as your liaison to a network of other criminals. You know how to get message to and from your contact, even over great distances. Specifically, you know the local messengers, corrupt caravan masters, and my thing just changed. Wait. Oh.
Oh, wait, are you seeing what I'm changing it to?
Yes, I do. I see the page you change it to.
That's weird.
By the way, it's on the right side, down towards the right, like right above my expertise. I wanna write a letter about my current situation to them and ask what they might be able to find on what was the Baron guy?
Alright, so so this person's not in Nordred, correct?
Apparently not. I don't know though. It's kind of just wherever. It doesn't. Like I said, I wouldn't know where they are, but like my character would.
Okay, I'll say that your contact is probably somewhere in the Southern Isles, where you're from. Since you've only recently come to Nordred yourself, you don't have the contact there.
I see.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna ask them for a recommendation of someone they know in this area, perhaps, that I could talk to. That's easily accessible to me.
Alrighty. Alright, so you write that letter, and I assume you take it to the local postmaster?
Whoever I need to get it to where I need to go.
Alright, so the local postmaster it's a small shop in the merchant district. A older, grizzled mage kind of works there. He's like, sending a letter, are you, Birdman?
Hugo's gonna nod.
Good. He quickly grabs the letter, and he just does it, like, waves his hand over it, to basically checking it for A, stolen goods, and B, any suspect magical energies coming off of it.
Also, it's written in Thieves' Cant.
Okay.
So if someone doesn't know Thieves' Cant and they read it, it's just like a generic letter, like...
Well, he's not going to read it. He just says, like, a magical, like, check over to see if it's...
Yes.
Basically, he's just doing a security, like, check over it.
But if anyone else does, they can't read it unless they know Thieves' Cant.
I probably couldn't then. So he kind of just goes over it real quick with magic, detects nothing. He's like, alright, this letter will reach its destination in the Southern Isles in about 2 days. You'll receive a response in about equal time, assuming the person gets it immediately. So you're looking about like 4 days to wait for a response.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
So he attaches the letter, well, he kind of rolls it up a little bit so it's scroll-shaped, puts it in like a little thunk scroll container on the back of a large hawk, which you can tell this isn't like an actual hawk, it's a magical avatar of some kind, which he quickly like more or less says the address in like a magical lyrical way, and this magical avatar just immediately hops up and poof, it's gone. Alright, the messenger's on the way. It'll reach there in due time. Is there another letter you would like to address?
Kiko's gonna shake their head. No, thank you. And then just leave. That's what Kiko wants to do.
Alright. And just so you all know, Nordred doesn't charge money. Doesn't charge money for sending postal.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about postage, but
yeah, they don't charge that. The reason for that is because of their use of magic when it comes to most of their daily uses. that particular woe is so little that they don't find it worth charging.
Interesting.
It's one of the few advantages in living in a place like Nordred, especially if you move there and want to contact someone outside the kingdom.
Yeah.
They also kind of see it as, since we check your mail with magic, to see if you're sending something untoward, them being able to control what it and operate and mitigate the way mail and certain things are shipped places kind of is its own payment as well, because it's increased security for the nation. So you don't have to pay, but they have every right to check your shit.
Oof. Kiko does not like that at all.
Don't be going mailing any untoward goods.
Yeah, no, Kiko does not like that at all.
'Tis the law.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Doesn't mean Kiko likes it. But,
Nope. It's probably more reason he doesn't like it. Right.
Yeah.
So, is that the last thing you want to do? Because that.
I think so, because I guess, is there like a bounty board in town?
There is towards the town center over by the fountain spring in the center here. There is a small little bulletin board for like news, bounties, monsters, things like that. Also like ranger recruitment, stuff like that.
Kiko's just gonna like look over the board and see what they find.
Right. So as you look over the board, you see basic stuff. You see like little advertisements for special discounts. Ivan's Forge. Come one, get one short sword, get two free. And then like in small print, it's like only acceptable for one person per group. Things like that. Like you see just advertisements, general for different businesses and stuff like that. And then you see an assortment of like 3 or 4 bounties. One of them is a bounty for goblins. It says, notice, goblin activity increased in area. For freelance hunters, Ranger Security Office will pay 20 silver per goblin slain. Please provide proof of kill, and payment will be processed immediately at Security Office.
You guys who want to do goblin hunting later.
Yeah, Kiko's gonna like I guess, can we take the bulletins? Is that allowed?
You cannot. But that's legally speaking. There are like a stack of them there, just in case. Since it's not like you at worst you'd get fined, but you could take a copy of it. Because even the security desk are like, yeah, no one's gonna. It's one of those monotonous laws that doesn't really matter.
Okay, yeah. It's
like jaywalking.
If there's extra copies, Kiko's gonna take one of the copies and like.
All right. So you take one of the copies. A guard walks by, sees it, and goes, yeah, there's another copy. He just keeps walking. Again, it's like a misdemeanor of misdemeanors.
Okay, cool. Yeah, is there anything else that might catch Kiko's eye?
The other 2 bounties, one of which is for a... one of the bounties is for a small troll. It's handwritten, though. It's not like an official postage properly put up. There's no copies. It's kind of raggedy, so on some old parchment somebody drew up. The sketch looks kind of like a stick figure sketch, or like a troll with a club. Says reward 5 gold.
Oh. Okay.
But it doesn't have anything else written on it other than reward 5 gold. And
does it have who it's from or anything?
Nope.
No contact info?
Nope.
Oh.
It just says, please kill small troll. Bounty 5 gold.
No location of the troll.
No. The closest to location is it says out in woods. Whoever wrote this, I don't know if you can do insight on a poster about somebody, but you can try.
Does it have like perhaps a specific dialect of writing? Like
It's kind of chickeny scratched, so whoever wrote it is not very good at writing.
okay, insight then, right?
Yeah, you can do insight through the writing and everything about the person.
15. Because I'm thinking it's goblins.
As far as you can tell, whoever put together this poster is either a troll in the sense of they're fucking with people, or it's one of the worst, weirdest people you've ever encountered to put up some random poster about a troll, a small troll, for 5 gold. It's more than likely a prank by some kids, but could also potentially be real, but unlikely.
See, what I'm thinking, like in Kiko's head, this is either like some kobolds or like goblins that are like out in the forest that want people to help them because there's a troll problem that they have.
Or it was the troll itself, just trying to lure adventurers to come and get eaten.
That would be funny. That actually would be funny. But, yeah, Kiko's just going to ignore that one for now. But I'm going to make a note of it, like mentally.
And the only other bounty on the board is shows a face of a man. The sketch of the man is actually pretty well done. You can tell this is done by the security office. Mm-hmm. And the poster says, notice and warning. Wanted man, dead or alive. And it says his name, Brigand D. Kados.
Brigand D. Kados.
Brigand D. Kados.
How in the world do you spell that?
Brigand is Brigan.
I was thinking Kados. D.
And Kados is Catos. Katos.
Oh, okay. That's the... Okay, gotcha. Brigand D. Kados wants a poster.
Brigand D. Kados... It says in the small text of description, wanted for treasonous acts against the crown.
I see. Does,
The bounty for his head, dead or alive, is a whopping 1,500 gold.
This guy's above our pay grade. Next.
Is there copies of them?
There are.
Cool. I'm gonna take a copy.
Alrighty.
As well.
One thing I will also note is it says in small text below the bounty, as you sketch it away and you see like the small text, it says, if dead, bounty doubled. So he's wanted more dead than alive.
Interesting. Okay. I'm just going to roll that up, and I'm going to look at the other bounties on the board, if there's anything that...
Those were the only 3.
Is that it? Nothing else at all? Maybe not even bounties, just like...
There's a non, like, person-killing bounty. From Miss Novary's Wondrous Goods, bounty, rare and unique items. Particularly of note, magical ones. She pays a handsome price for them.
Huh. I see.
Well, we know where to sell our magic loot.
Yeah, we do. Kiko says, looking at their 2 drums of, Magistone.
See if she wants those. We have time.
Maybe, but Kiko has use for these.
Alrighty. So that pretty much takes up your 2 hours. So you guys are going to all run to the linen shop. What was the name of that place anyway?
Oh, if there's copies of the Miss Novary's one, Kiko's going to take one.
Alright, there are copies.
Okay, yeah, just to show to the party.
I don't think I wrote down that. Oh, there it is. Barton's Linens. Okay, thank you. Alright,
Yes.
so you guys gonna run over to Barton's Linens and pick up your noble clothing.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pick up my stuff and then head back to the inn to my room and change and get ready for tonight's soiree.
Alright, so you all kind of converge at the Barter's Linens. He's already waiting there with this super gleeful, "Welcome back! All of your fresh noble clothing is ready and waiting." And he quickly hands them all to you while giving you like brief descriptors of like how much fun it was to work on these. Like I find it very particularly enjoyable to work on tiefling clothing. The horn holes, I don't know what it is. It's just so cathartic to just snip those in for you. I made sure to measure them exactly to your horn diameter. And here you are, little Landrin. I made sure to properly consult the gnomes in the back, since they have similar measurements to you, about the proper tightness around the waist, and we made sure not to include too overt lower appendage clothing, as I hear it, kobolds don't particularly enjoy having pants. So we did give you a proper loincloth underneath wrap, though. So it's also rather spacious and comforting. He's just going out. He's like giving you each of your clothes, giving you really brief description. He looks at Bellstar, just nods, and then looks at Kiko and goes, "Now, I consulted my assistant, which, by the way, as I will remind you, she is single and looking to mingle. Anyway, so we made sure to make plenty of spacious, stretchable portions of this nice, noble clothing. I really like to do the lining, but it'll stretch properly around your feathers, making it so it's not too stuffy. The fabric's rather thin, so it gives you plenty of room to breathe. And as I said, very flexible, very, very comforting, and you can very easily get it over your beak. You'll be entirely set, my good man." So he hands each of you your clothes and kind of hand waves you guys out, and kind of just does like him and his entire like staff are all like standing in line outside, kind of bow to you guys as you leave. Kind of do this, but "Thank you for choosing Botton's Linens. Please come back anytime. I'd love to have you." There's one final curtsy, and then him and his staff go back in the shop.
Kiko's just gonna roll their eyes.
Well, how do I look?
So you all get changed at the end. So do you guys? I can describe at length like how your clothes work, or how they look. Sorry, but that'd be up to you if you guys want me to do that.
No, I'm gonna describe to you. Here's how it goes.
Okay,
He walks
actually,
down
no,
the
yeah,
stairs, and it changes from a third person. It changes into a third-person perspective. That's what happens.
What?
I'm making a Yakuza joke.
Ha ha ha! I don't play Yakuza. Alright, so all of you are in your now noble clothing. Make sure to note that. That will affect your AC. So, keep it in mind.
For me, it doesn't.
Huh? Oh yeah.
I was never wearing any pants.
Anyway. So you all are good to either meet up with Braun at the security office or head straight for the Lord's home.
Would it be possible, given that Kiko's clothing's a little bit specially tailored, to like hide some armor under it, like leather specifically, or some kind like I don't want to say plates, but I mean like.
Well, you can put it in the bag of holding. Just know it's not. You can get it out fairly quick, but keep in mind it takes a minute to put any kind of armor on.
But I mean, is it possible that I could like put the armor on under the noble outfit, perhaps, since it's just leather?
I'll say no. It's not gonna. It's definitely, the armor's definitely puffy and thick enough that you would definitely see it through your clothes. Because though your clothes are stretchy, they do try and stay fairly tight to your person. So leather armor would show a noticeable bulk underneath your clothing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Unless you want to roll me sleight of hand with disadvantage.
Yeah, I think it'd be too much to try to hide it, but I will in fact hide my my thieves' kit.
Okay.
In my outfit.
Alright, roll me sleight of hand, just regular with that.
So, let's go.
15. Alright, so I'll say yeah, it's fairly successfully hidden in your person.
Okay, cool.
So, out of curiosity, this is out of character.
Okay.
Um, historically, it's rather well known. Even in court, people would wear their armors and like. I would like to. So I have just a simple chain shirt. Does my clothing fit over my chain shirt, or is this something like, no, that's just not gonna happen?
You get the... I would say you guys have gotten the vibe from this place that the people are... Aversion Village at the very least, if not the people of Nordred, are fairly rough and rugged. They would... Though it would be inappropriate to show up to a noble's house with noticeable armor, if you were to put on chainmail or something more subtle like that than full-blown leather armor or plate or, full-on armor, which is more shown to be standoffish and more like you're prepared for a fight and expecting one, which is a sign of fair disrespect to nobility. However, given the rough and rugged environment, chainmail or lighter faint armor underneath your clothing, at the very least here, would not be considered standoffish or a negative, as long as it's not like full plate or leather armor.
Yeah, this is just, a simple chain shirt.
Yeah, so having that underneath your clothes, if anyone did notice it, probably would note it, but they wouldn't be offended by it.
Okay, so I will wear my chain shirt underneath my noble attire. Be damned if my little clinking sounds of the rings are heard occasionally.
Alrighty.
But they're generally muffled by the outer layer.
Alrighty. So is everybody else set to go to the noble's house?
First, but other than that,
Wait, what?
I'm going to clean up the sword first, but other than that, yeah. Prestidigitation, very swift spell.
Alright, you gotta clean up your sword with prestidigitation, and your voice went down low for a minute there. Alright, so your sword's all clean. Alright, so all of you head to the noble's house, which I have also
Gather around, children, for this grand story time.
Alright, so I haven't drawn the noble's house either, because I didn't have time. So we're gonna have to do this shotgun style. Alright, so you guys head to the Noble's District. It's around 1 p.m. about this time. As you guys go down the residential district, it's fairly sparsely populated. There's not a ton of people. You get the sense that this is just because it's the time of the day. Most people either are at work in the merchants district. If they're rangers, they're out doing their tasks out in the city. And if they are home, they're probably in their homes doing stuff. So other than like the one or two people just walking around, you don't see very many people down this district. So as you approach the Lord's home, you see the fairly large wrought iron gate, the black wrought iron gate, and a stone brick wall, which solid 7 feet in height. And as you approach, you notice the gate is completely shut, and there's 2 guards standing at attention on either side of the gate. They're in full plate armor, armed with pikes and shields.
As we're walking up, I would like to whisper to Kiko, "Hey, try and not do the normal thing. Stay inconspicuous."
No promises.
Just don't get caught.
Alright. So, as you guys kind of mosey up and approach, the guards take notice of you, and one with a fairly full beard. It's not like hanging down or anything, but it's a well-groomed, thick beard, black beard, and he goes, "Halt! Who goes there?"
I would like to step forward and say that Commander Braun has extended an invitation to us to meet with the Lord Regent, Lady Ruga, and we were told to meet here at this time with Commander Braun.
Alright, just to double check, did I tell you guys Lady Ruger's full name, or...?
Lady Maria Ruga.
Okay, I did. Okay, good. Wasn't sure if I didn't write down that I told you guys the full name. I did. Awesome. Alright, so the guard, hearing this, kind of raises one eyebrow, looks to his fellow. The fellow kind of shrugs, like he's like, I don't know what they're talking about. He says, as far as I have heard, Commander Braun has given us no such instructions to let anybody in, nor has he told us that... And as you say this, you hear from behind you Braun's voice. Hey, shut up. Hey, shut up, Khaki. They're with me. Commander Braun! Of course. And they kind of look at each other even more confused. And Braun is, as you know, he's still in armor, but it's lighter armor. He's got his normal cloak around him. He's not as heavily armored as he is. He's just got, just a short sword on his side, but not his normal heavy armor. And he kind of gestures you guys in. He's like, follow me. And the gate opens up wide for you guys. And you guys head in. Right, I'm going to need a Sharpie for this.
Alrighty then.
So, as you guys enter the building... Fuck, where's my ruler? Here's my ruler. See if I can do this. Alright. I want to do a shotgun style, but at the same time. Alright, so you guys enter the main hall of this house, so to speak. The building is... as you guys walk up to its precipice, you notice this nice stone brick walkway staircase up to the main door. That's right. The front lawn is like full of these really nicely curated hedges, and the hedges are actually shaped like bears on their hind legs. So it's pretty nicely decorated place. So as you guys walk past that, and Braun escorts you guys to the front door, which is this fairly large oak door, dark oak door. He, grabs one of the circular handles that you guys know what the clinker ones, the
knockers.
Yeah, the knockers.
Yeah.
He grabs one of those. He grabs one of those and knocks on the door, and a much older man opens the door. Very old, very wrinkled. You can tell this guy's the butler. He's like, "Oh, Commander Braun, it's good to see you, lad. Welcome home." Braun says, "It's good to be back for a good few minutes. I'm here to see the lady." "Oh, but of course. I'll make sure she's aware of you." Right. So you guys enter the building. Behind Braun, which I'll use this dwarf to represent him. So you guys enter with Braun, and you're in. Once you enter, you see this beautiful entry lobby. You see this nice, pristine staircase that leads to a second floor. Right at the entrance here. You see the balcony. The balcony is nice and solid stone. The side, like the guides on the side of the staircase are made of a nice curled decorative stonework, very well carved. You see different kinds of bear or ursine style decorations and decor statues. Two fairly large ones. And the entryway right here of some bears lying down in kind of like a resting position here. You also notice there's a set of doors on either side on the base floor, and you can easily speculate that there is doors on either side of the upper staircase here. Alright, so as you guys stand there, and Braun clearly shows through him just standing there that you're not supposed to leave the hallway quite yet until you've gotten confirmation that you're allowed to go where you're supposed to go in this house. And you guys want to say anything to him while you guys wait for the butler? Or want to do anything, perhaps?
Well, Landrin would like to kind of just strike up a conversation with the commander. You seem familiar with the household.
Yes, it's supposed to be my home.
Comment that what's the word? Comment that vague is usually followed by a story.
Roll me persuasion.
Oh.
He kind of looks at you, and he's got this look on his face like this is something very serious to him. Baggage is certainly a way to describe what he's trying to impress upon you. He has, but at the same time, for him, this is not the time, and he says as much. Listen, little one, there are some things that we, and by we I mean any normal person, is not comfortable discussing, and there's a time and place for such talk, and this is not the time, possibly the place, but not the time. And he kind of just, stands more correctly up, just looking straight onward. Anyone else wants to try their luck at that?
Nope, I'm not good at persuading anyone.
Alright. Shikoria, Belstarius?
The thing is, I actually put points into charisma so I could try and at least be persuasive.
I would like to ask if he is related to Lord Regent Lady Maria Ruga.
Alright, so you ask him, and the moment you say, like, are you guys related, he kind of tensens up, and he says, I am not related to the lady, and nor is she related to me.
Oh, I was just curious.
It's at this point that a maid kind of comes out from like one of the back rooms over here. Like that. And the maid kind of notices Braun as she's like coming out to clean or probably dust the statues. And she kind of runs over and goes, Master Braun! And she's kind of an older woman, by the way. Yeah, she's short in stature, 5'4". She's not very plump, but you'd say like probably a good 20 pounds heavier than you would call thin. Fairly older, wrinkles starting to get to her, graying hair. You'd assess that this woman is probably in her early 60s at youngest. At oldest, she'd be just on the doorstep to 70. And she looks right up at Braun and goes, "Have you been keeping healthy? You look rather thin." Yes, Marjorie, I have. Thank you. You do know that you're allowed to stay here any time. You don't need to stay at the security office so many nights. I'm well aware. Marjorie, thank you. How is everything here? Oh, fairly quiet. The lady is in whenever she can be, but like you, she's rather busy. She only just got back from the capital a few days ago, as you know, I'm sure. I did hear. I welcomed her back myself. We'll be all too happy to see you. You two were such good friends when you were little. Thank you, Marjorie. I think that's enough. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't be a stranger. And she kind of looks down, like she's kind of like, I accidentally stepped on I made a wrong call. So she quickly, like, comes back over to the statue and just gets to dusting, trying to keep busy.
Awkward.
So, hold on, let me roll something. Alright. So after about a minute goes by and the awkward silence is kind of there, finally finally you see him go. So he kind of turns to you guys and goes, I'm actually supposed to be the Lord Regent of this realm. My father and my father's father and my entire line have been the Lord Regent of this particular region of Nordred for many generations. Some say since just after the great king, Wolf King Wulfric, founded the nation. It's been a long time, but a few years back, well, I say a few, it's about a lifetime ago now. Almost 10 years. I was but a lad, 17. My father was killed defending the village, defending our town. When he died, they gave me the choice to become the Lord Regent. Well, I say choice. Everyone talked as if it was decided. Everyone talked as if it was made up, that I was to be the Lord Regent and there was no question. I was an idiot. I was a fool. I spent most of my afternoons at that point drinking with my friends at the inn. I wasn't a lord. I wasn't noble. I wasn't respectable. I didn't have it in me to take over. So, one of the other wealthier merchants, his daughter, my childhood friend, Maria. They had been a paragon in this town for many years. They were strong. She was strong. She was a ranger at the time. She fought alongside my father when he died. Me, I was still training to be one. Despite the fact we're the same age, she's always been ahead of me. So when the time came, I told the other nobles to shove it. Including the king. Though I'm embarrassed how I said it to him. The king was younger than me at the time. He was just a boy when he became king. Yet he was able to take on such responsibility. I was a coward. So I handed off the lordship to the Ruga family, specifically to Maria. She refused staunchly at first. You can't imagine how long it took me to convince that woman to finally take the position. When she finally did, it was a controversial decision, to say the least. Most of the lords still don't respect her. Not because of any stupid reason. Well, not that any stupid reason they would call stupid. It's because she's not a therianthrope. It's because she's not of the blood of the nobles long past. So she's often mistreated and disrespected, but she handles it better than I ever would have. But I won't lie, it's odd to still call this place home. I'm surprised she hasn't kicked me out. So, I apologize in advance for any awkwardness, if that comes about. Yeah, he kind of relaxes his shoulders, kind of happy he got to vent it a little bit. You can tell he's not giving every detail, not describing everything. He's just giving you guys what he feels he owes you guys, considering the awkward circumstances and some contextual stuff that's happened so far.
Landron is just going to kind of lean over and pat his shin comfortingly.
He kind of, he kind of jumps at the touch to his shin, but he looks down. He understands what you're trying to do. He kind of nods, awkwardly smiling, but kind of pushes your hand away because it feels weird to have your shin caressed. So it's he's just like, no. So anyone say anything else? Right. So now another 5 minutes goes by, and finally let me use this representative. The butler comes down the stairs and says, Lord Braun, you and your guests are going to be accepted into the ladies' office now. If you'd like to come with me. Yes, of course. Lead the way. So they head up the. So you guys all head up the stairs and out through the side door there. So once you go through the side door, okay, here we go. So once you guys go through the side door and are and enter this decently sized office room, it's fairly large. If it were a bedroom, it would be a very spacious one. And in this large room, you see at the sides of the walls, you see some bookcases with some different things on it. Some are novels, fictional novels. Some are folded up reports and scrolls and stuff like that. Just a lot of stuff in these bookcases on the side. And God, I forgot I've already. Alright, so once you guys enter the room and you see these bookcases, at the center of the room is a desk, and at it you see a fairly short-statured woman. Not like short, but compared to you guys, she's about 5'6", 5'6" gal. Fairly thin-faced, freckles, ginger, bright red hair. The freckles aren't too pronounced; they're kind of subtle towards the cheeks. Nice bright green eyes, and she's quickly, you can tell this woman's a little flustered. She's kind of doing a bunch of stuff all at once. Make sure I get the dimensions right. She gets enter through there. See the desk. Here. And here she is. That'll be the chair, the bookcases on either side, with a couple windows. Alright, so let's get that quickly drawn up. Crap, do I have a good representation of her? I really don't. Damn it. The thing is, I bought a bunch of, like, really low quality. What's a good one? Use that. Alright, that's her. Right. Actually, do I have one that would better represent Braun? That'll work. Alright, so there's Braun. Alright, so you guys enter the room, and you see her jolling around her notes. She's quickly writing stuff up, and the moment she hears the door close behind her, and the butler doesn't join you in the room, by the way. He just kind of opened the door for you guys and closes it behind you. So he's on the outside. So once she hears the door close, she quickly looks up, and she sees Braun, and this big smile comes on her face. Like, right before that smile came on, her eyes were a little bit sunken in, a little bit of bags under her eyes. She's clearly tired. And like I said, flustered, a bunch of stuff on her plate. And she almost looked like she was lacking a little life, like her soul got sucked out a little bit over the course of years. But the moment she sees Braun, this big burning smile chalks up on her face. And she just jumps up and says, Braun! And quickly, like, immediately just drops the quill, despite the fact some of the ink kind of splashes on her notes, and comes over and jumps on him and hugs him. And he goes, he was, you could tell he wasn't expecting it either. He was probably expecting her to try and be more lordly, considering the guests, but apparently not. He goes, that's okay, Maria, it's okay. These are the people I mentioned in my brief notice to you earlier in the day. So as she kind of jumps off and she's like kind of half smiling, knowing that he's a little embarrassed, and she looks at you guys and she kind of recomposes herself. Welcome to all of you. As I understand from the brief note I was passed along by Braun here, there's some very important information you all need to relay to me. Is this correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
Alright, very well. She kind of walks back to her desk and sits down, and there's only 2 chairs on the other side here. So Braun kind of just sticks behind the desk and kind of stands by her. Does anyone want to take up the chairs or just walk up?
Who needs chairs?
Alright, so you're going to jump on one of the chairs. That increases your height to the point where you can just see over her desk. Anyone else taking out the other chair? Which draw 'em.
Remain standing.
Alright, Notorious is remaining standing.
Some of these fancy chairs do not take my weight.
Alright, Jacoria, Kiko?
I would like to remain standing a little in the back, just to, be part of the conversation, but not necessarily, form the conversation.
Alright, so we'll put you about there then. And Kiko.
Yeah, Kiko would like to remain standing as well, mostly because, better to be on your feet than, sitting down.
Alrighty. So, you guys all are standing there. What would you like to do next?
Landrin would like to start getting the letter out and
Actually,
nervously shuffling it.
Before we do that, who wants to take a 10-minute break?
That wouldn't be so bad.
10 5-minute break.
Oh, okay.
Unless everyone wants to keep going.
For me, I have to go get up and get ready and go to work. Let's see, it's 3:45. In like 45 or 50 minutes.
Okay. So you guys want to instead push through?
I can push through.
Or just do a 5-minute break, like a quick 5-minute break, then come back.
Either or is fine with me.
I'm down for the 5-minute break.
Alright, let's take a 5-minute break, rush to the bathroom, get a drink, and we'll try and get through the rest of this, at least to a good stopping point. Alright, see you all in 5 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hungwell Hamburger Halftime Show. I am your host, the Hungwell Hamburger. We're having some pretty good roleplay here. Kiko and Belisarius, especially, really going for it in terms of being scared of spiders, apparently. We have gotten 2 bags of holding. What an incredible catch. And we have a good repository of magical items to work with. I'm thinking that the party's future is bright. We just might make it through all these shenanigans. This has been Hungwell Hamburger's halftime show special. I've been your host, Hungwell Hamburger. See you next time.
Alright, so as we left off, you guys have just entered. What do you guys want to do?
Landrin would like to first and foremost introduce himself. Hello, damn it, I blanked on her fucking name and I hate myself.
Lady Maria Ruga.
Maria Ruga. Lady Maria, my name is Landrin, and these are my associates, and dare I say it, friends, Belisarius, Decoria, and Kiko. We are a group of guards for one of the caravans that have just entered this town, and we ran into a spot of bother that was quite illuminating on our ride into town.
And she, at your introduction, she kind of like bows her head. In a very noble, she's showing you guys, quite a bit of respect, and So she nods her head down, does, in a sitting motion like that noble bow with like the hand out flexed and her eyes down. And she looks back up and says, "Thank you for introducing yourself, Landrin. It's not every day I get to see a kobold here." And
I am quite a unique sight in the region, aren't I?
Very. The closest to your kind we get is Dragonborn.
It's rather cold up here.
That it is. Freezing this time of year, but we're not even in full-fledged winter for another week. So she kind of nods at the rest of you and gives her greetings. So you said you're a guard of a caravan that just entered town. I only have one on my notes that has. What's all this about?
Well, we stumbled across... I'm just going to be very blunt, as is my way. We stumbled across a conspiracy to incite rebellion against the kingdom.
At this statement, she almost jumps to her feet. Like, there's this... She tenses up, and her face went from being calm and leveled to now she's got... Her eyebrows have frilled, and now she's giving you a sharp glance. She was a conspiracy of rebellion. You'll need to elaborate on that now.
Yes.
He's going to take the letter out.
I want to impress you guys right now. She went from being perceptually a respectable, calm, cool, level-headed person. The aura of like tension and like strength she's giving off right now. She is not giving off a vibe I can be fucked with.
She's got Fists of the North Star aura going on right now.
The level of intensity she is now giving you guys for a glance is piercing. You can see right now why she's a leader that's respectable, because she is commanding right now. She's not even standing. She's sitting. She's shorter than all of you, except for you, Landrin. And she is, don't fuck with me right now. Make your points.
He no fucking around. He's handing over the letter, and he's like, "Hey."
Right. So she takes the letter from you, and she looks to you, Jacoria, as you were about to speak. You were about to explain. Do it so now. And as
as we were adventuring through and protecting our caravan, we had encountered a pack of elite goblins, and in their possession was this notice. After we found this notice, we sat with our caravan leaders, had a discussion with them, and one of our caravan leaders was the recipient of this notice that you are now looking at. When we first got into town, we first decided... Yes, that is correct. When we first got back into town, we took this directly to Commander Braun himself and had a conversation with him. Since it is quite later into the day, I am presuming that Commander Braun can provide you with some additional substantiation to our claims, as he had scouts going to the mill where we had encountered said goblins with this notice in hand. So I hope Commander Braun can shed some more light and provide you with any empty questions that you may have with the report that he'll be able to provide you, along with any questions that we may be able to answer after you've taken a look at the notice, and we can discuss a little further to let you digest.
All right. So,
small side note, potentially unrelated, but coincidences are a truly rare thing. The goblin leader, when he was being struck down, mentioned something about a master we cannot stop. So, food for thought.
All right. So she takes in all your words, and you could tell she paid attention to every syllable of your words. She did not let anything get past her. So she quickly, sharply looks at Braun, and she doesn't need to say a word to him. He immediately stands at attention and says, "What they have to say is correct, Mom. I sent out 3 rangers to a plume of smoke we saw. It was the old lumber mill burning. And she kind of scoffs at this. Goblins hiding out in the lumber mill. I thought you had patrols check that regularly. I do, ma'am. My apologies. They had to have only recently set up shop there. I told you to do daily routines there. Not weekly, not every couple of days, daily. There's a reason we don't there's a reason we check that spot regularly. Not only is it a prime position to set up a new lumber mill, which we're in need of right now in terms of our a small economic crisis in the region, but it is also a spot so close to the village. Yes, it's a day's ride almost from here, if you're going slowly, but at the same time it's close enough that if a goblin horde would have set up there tomorrow and was allowed to build for a week, they could attack our very walls and we would be under siege. It wouldn't be the first time.
Oops.
Yes, I understand, ma'am. I just don't have enough rangers to dedicate to check the one spot every single day. Then you yourself can check it. We have plenty of town guards who just stand around and do nothing all day. But put back on their ranger cloaks and tell them to do some real work. Is that understood? Yes, ma'am.
Pardon the interruption. I would like to apologize for burning down the lumber mill. It was an unfortunate event that had happened during the battle. There was an errant fireball that had gone through and started that damage. So I would like to apologize for that. But second of all, I think we do need to keep in mind that particular area, that was a troublesome area for you. We have solved that issue for you this time. So I would like to make that known that, that area technically should no longer be a concern, given the fact that the lumber mill itself is unfortunately destroyed. But at the same time, we have also dispatched all of the goblins, and with luck, potentially, we've also now created hey, this area is under guard, so you need to pay attention, and people may not come there anymore either.
We'll be cordoning off the area, and as thanks for purging the goblins there, I will not charge you for destroying public property.
Say fireball, she's going to think the wizard did it.
And I would like to do a deep bow as I possibly can and say, thank you, my lord.
So she takes a deep breath, trying to turn off soldier mode. She's definitely in that tense level. Braun, that aside, the lumber mill burning and all, you said your rangers confirmed what they had to say. They didn't find any bodies of goblins, unfortunately. What they did find was recent battle damage and blood that is consistent with goblin blood. Darker color hue, not to mention a broken tusk we found. So,
burying the bodies, where did they go?
Possibly picked up by fauna, or if someone potentially who's involved in all this that you suggest might have sent someone to clean up the bodies. Make it look like the lumber mill had been abandoned all along, and frame you all for burning down a lumber mill senselessly.
They were elite goblins. They were blue.
You'll keep using that phrase and it never gets any less frustrating.
Elite goblins.
I know, right?
When you say elite goblins, describe them in detail to me now.
And I would like to... So I'm not quite sure how to describe it in character, so I'm just going to give a general vague.
Actually, I have a perfect way to describe it in character. Landrin has had to think about elite goblins for several days now, thanks to you, Asmus. By elite goblins, ma'am, he means tactical, organized, cooperative. There was even traces of, and I do not jest with you, camaraderie amongst them. Camaraderie.
At this, she kind of gives you a sideways glance like you're insane. and then looks at the rest of you. It looks like you all are a little crazy. Goblins are a shambled, ramshackled pest. They don't think. They're not intelligent. They're not organized unless there's a higher creature controlling them.
As I had originally
Aforementioned
alluded
master.
to, that is correct. And there was a goblin that was significantly larger, their leader. I don't believe he was of the hobgoblin variety, but he was certainly more intelligent, more hardy, more tactical, and was very difficult to take down. So when I say elite goblin, I do mean in the utmost respect, ma'am. These were not your standard goblin. They were well thought out. They were very tactical. They attacked our camp without notice, without anyone realizing they were there, stole items of value, and retreated. Normally, as a guard, we would encounter goblins, and then it would be small skirmishes. They would throw themselves to death. They didn't do that. What they did was well thought out, was planned, and they were directed to do so. They were looking for something. Whether it was to get the attention of our caravan leader, who was the intended recipient of the notice that you have in your hand, or they were looking for something that was carried on the caravan that we did not find or we were not privy to, and that's what they were after.
In the leaders, and several of the subordinates' chambers, like they had a habit. They had a habit of, instead of, they had a chest. You know, they would have chests and barrels and storage containers. But these were all ruses, mere ruses, madam. Like they would just simply have them as distractions to make you look there, but there would be nothing in them. All their possessions would be under the bed. Like the reverse psychology here is astounding for their level of intellect. And the leader had an ingenious little set of cans that would jingle if someone attempted to enter his room without being bid to do so. Preparations.
That is extremely true, Landers. But I think we're forgetting something here, and I would like to turn to the Knight Captain, Commander Braun. Can you please explain to her the situation of the Magistones and the ones that we found with the goblins?
Yes. And he goes over in detail with her. His confiscation of both the black powder, which was more of a minor note, and the confiscation of the Magistone, which the moment of its mention, her eyes like widened quite a bit, and even somehow she seems to come off even more intense. And then as he's explaining the confiscation, the analysis, the odd purity level, and then obviously meeting up with you guys in secret to discuss and then as he's describing all this, he then says, and towards the end of our conversation, we were interrupted. Interrupted? By who? Who interrupted you during this time? So
it was Lord Farron.
Lord Farron.
And he was acting with suspicion unmatched for the scenario.
It's at this point that even Braun is kind of like got this really tense face, and you see the lady lean back, and she kind of puts her hand on her face. If Lord Farion's involved, that would explain the goblins. He's known to tinker with the biology of creatures. His interesting hobby has him quite the reputation amongst us nobles.
Fascinating you should mention. One of them had tusks that looked like an evolutionary dead end. I'm quoting that from you, by the way.
That isn't normal for the ice goblin tribes. They don't have tusks. Yes. If Lord Farion's involved, I have no doubt in my mind he's responsible for them. I can't say as if he's the master that they were referring to, but it wouldn't surprise me, but I can't say with certainty. So at this point, Braun kind of tenses up and kind of puts his hand on her shoulder, says, "My lady, all this is rather serious, rather tense, but there's only so little we can do to act against Farion." And she kind of slams her fist on her desk. "You think I don't know that? That bastard has been pushing us around, giving me orders like I'm some overblown seamstress in the room. I've had to deal with him at the Council of Geist day after day when we meet at the capital. His pompousness and irritation never bothers me. If you ask me, the human side of him is, as a therianthrope, is a joke. He's more snake than he is man." Trust me, I know. I remember when he and Father used to debate, in this very room. There was never a quiet word traded between them. But if he's truly involved, that would explain the Magistone. It's his minds that mine it, and refine it. Yes, but you said these aren't pure. They're slightly, well, improperly developed, correct? Yes, that is what the mages determined. Still close to our purification process, but not perfect. Which tells me if it is him, he's rushing the process. Ma'am, I have to ask. You're more up to date on the council's meetings, and I know that it's private. But is it possible that you could report all of this to the council? To Rollo? She kind of leans forward a little bit, covering her face, particularly her eyes, with her hands. Rollo is in no condition. I've barely been able to get the man to speak. Ever since the king died, he hasn't been himself. He's been so quiet.
I take it you worry that even if you were to oust him for his wrongdoings, then it might simply leave you as a loose end.
In terms of my influence over the council, without Rollo's support, I'd only have one other person who doesn't like Lord Farion as much as I do.
And we're still not allowed to assassinate him.
It's at these words that she kind of stands up, goes to the door, and she clicks a lock to the door and goes to the windows and closes the drapes. We cannot, at least yet, assassinate someone as important as Lord Farion. If you did, only his son would take over, and trust me when I say he's preferable to that little monster. But if he is responsible for all this, and given this Khan Ra is involved, the slave trader, if my theory is correct, this Khan Ra is working separately, or at least they are working independently at the same time as working together. Khan Ra is working to get the slave trade here in Nordred, but that wouldn't benefit Lord Farion. His trade is in mining. Not just mining, but ore refinery, weapons, Magistone-based, well, everything you could picture. Slave trade is chump change by comparison if it became popular here.
Not to discredit your thought, but if Lord Farron is in charge of mining, creation, wouldn't slave labor be far more beneficial for him?
You would think, but when it comes to the specialty jobs, how many slaves do you know that can refine Magistone? How many slaves do you know who can chip it properly from the walls of a mine without damaging it severely? How many slaves do you know who can do all that specialty work?
Landrin, while she's talking, is just kind of waving his finger around in a circle, and next to her is going to appear a bright red 0.
Well, Though flashy, that is correct. That, like I said, that would be why the slave trade isn't feasible for him. You need specialty, well-trained, well-honed people to work those mines. We're not talking about mining steel, iron, or different metals like that. We're talking about magistone. As it is, they already have to have 7 mages per miner there just to make sure the stuff is not going to, well, blow up.
I have a cunning plan if it works. If not, it's incredibly retarded.
I have a plan myself, but feel free to speak, my young friend.
Right. We don't have any true reason, especially since goblins hit a caravan working under the patronage of the Khan. I suspect that either these two are working together indirectly, or at the very least are in different factions if Lord Farron is not the quote-unquote master the goblins mentioned. I suspect that they might be turned upon each other, and if we could try and subtly corral Lord Farron into trying to thwart the efforts of the Khan, then it might waylay his time, resources, and attention from any plans he might have in the short term, which would give, us more time to really try and find a truer and more long-term solution.
My thoughts aren't too far off from yours, my little friend.
Landrin just beams.
In terms of hampering the Khan's or Farion's side of things, for right now I think it'd be easier with this Khan fellow. Now, I have a specific request for all of you to do at the moment. If you'll hear me out, I will compensate you fairly.
We did come to you to try and help you, so I suppose it's not an unfair assumption.
In terms of immediate actions we can take, there's still much I need to find out. There's 2 tasks I would like to relay to you all, and once you finish them, hopefully we'll have answers by then on what to do next. As of right now, in terms of the whispers I've heard, which all of this has simply made me realize what the whispers truly mean, there's been goings-on in the catacombs beneath the city. It's suspected that some ne'er-do-wells are set up in the catacombs of this very city. Some say it's
no
rebellious...
more, we're going down right now. No, I'm not messing around with necromancy. We're going right now. Nope, we're going right now.
I'm not sure it's necromancy, my little friend. Given what you've all presented to me here, it's either a rebellious force, which, in that case, it still needs to be defeated, or it's this Khan Ra's other contacts acting suspicious, if we're being frank.
Landrin is going to visibly calm down because his mind jumped to something very sinister that he did not want to give a second to fester.
So, given the circumstances, I would have... that first task I would afford you before you do that is to check in on this Boric Halfheart. If he's conscious in our cleric's, home, then I want you to interrogate him. Get out of him every bit of information you know about, or he knows about this Khan Ra. Try and figure out what the hell his connection is to Farion and how Farion gets advantage out of this. What about the slave trade would, do him any good here in Nordred? And if he knows a damn thing about Farion that can help me nail his ass to the damn wall, then bring that information to me as soon as possible. If you're able to get nothing from him, or nothing specifically with Farion quite yet, the second task I have to relay you is to go down to the catacombs and ascertain what is going on. And if you find it is an immediate danger, please stop it. Once you report back what it is, and if you've stopped it, we can then negotiate your final reward. for both tasks.
Do you have a preference for the order of operations?
I prefer that you talk to this Borak first. I don't think interrogation takes that long. If you do, I can set my own men to it. But I'd rather...
I mean, I've already... Oh, sorry.
But I'd rather someone who's already encountered this man and already begun questioning him finish it off.
Well, I've already chopped off one arm. I suppose the other one wouldn't hurt.
And I give you pass as the Lord Regent of this region. You are exempt from any punishment to whatever you do to this Borak. After all, he's not a citizen here, now is he?
Notorious, I have need of your expertise in lackadaisical opening up of a human body. Or more a meatbag's body.
This is a service I could do.
Good. Now, I will say this. Minimum reward for all of this, even if you produce no results. I will reward each of you 50 gold.
Lantern falls over.
If that is the minimum you all can make. But if you achieve something great here, if you not only ascertain what the threat in the catacombs is, but also bring me proof of Farian's involvement, or at the very least an explanation on how he benefits, trust me, 50 gold is not all you will receive. Do we have a deal?
Landrin gets up on his teeny chair. Well, it's big to him, but it's just a chair. And he's going to offer one singular claw hand thing. We'll shake hands on it.
You notice she taps her wrist with her index and middle finger, and a magical seal kind of rings around it. And when she shakes your hand, the seal kind of goes both ways. It kind of entangles. And you feel what feels like a rope tie your little clawed hand to hers for a brief second, and then it just completely dissipates.
Well, thanks, guys. I guess the being the face is more dangerous than I originally expected.
Do not worry.
Oh joy.
Do not worry. All that'll happen is if you betray me is you'll die.
You know, that's actually very comforting.
Don't worry. I hear it's fast.
Remarkably comforting. Shall we, gentlemen?
So I have a out of question character.
Out of question character?
What
is this
question
character that is out of question?
Yeah, I knew what I meant. If I were to shake her hand and accept the deal as well, would that have some type of magical interference with my bangle?
No. This contractual spell is very subtle and very much, it's like subdermal almost. The spell virtually doesn't exist until it needs to, which means essentially if you betray her interests, it activates. If she betrays yours, it is a two-way street. If she refuses to pay you, it's the same consequence.
Alrighty, so I think it might be best if we don't get random magical tags on everyone, so...
No, I agree. That's why I was asking.
Yeah,
Chico is not going to consent to this at all. Not happening. I'll help, but I ain't shaking.
Alright. So you guys want to say anything to her, ask her anything, or you guys want to immediately head out?
I would like to thank her for her time and for allowing us to come speak with her, and that I would expect Commander Braun to escort us out.
Of course. I will ensure... And it's at this moment you guys hear a loud bang outside the door. Down the hall into the entryway. And you hear screaming from the maid.
Oh no.
Yeah. Unlocking it with Mage Hand.
And Braun's face gets real serious as he hears it. He looks to Lady Ruger, and she nods her head. And as she does, you see him brawn start to expand very quickly, and his flesh begins to peel and tear at the seams as he seems to be bursting out of his own skin. You see a large, bare snout extend from where his mouth should be, and you hear the cracking of bone as it shifts and twirls and contorts. And you see him go from being a solid 6'2" to now he is basically 8 feet tall. And you see before you, within a matter of seconds, and a lot of cracking and trembling and contorting bone and fur just bursting out from underneath tearing flesh, you see a full-fledged werebear.
Werebear's there.
Oh, they're rare. You must take care.
And in a deep, booming voice, he unsheaths his sword, says, I will remain here and protect the lady. Deal with the threat. And she throws in...
Landon's already gone.
Alright, so you already headed... So you guys are all heading out of the office?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Alright. So, quick question. How much time does everybody have?
I probably have to go, actually. I
Alright,
need to get
so-
ready to go to work because I got work at 5 and it's 4:25, so I gotta get dressed,
Alright.
grab something to eat and go.
We will call it there then, my dear gentlemen.
Can we see the combat map before you go?
Huh?
Can we see the combat map before you go?
I don't know. I feel like that ruins the surprise.
Oh, no.
I will say it's the room you guys were in before. So, like, that main hallway entryway.
But we're not about to find out who we're fighting until next time.
Oh, no, I ain't spoiling that shit.
Cliffhanger time. Yay!
Cliffhanger!